Vatican City in Rome is the world's smallest sovereign state. The whole of the Vatican and the Catholic Church is full of secrets because of what it's done over the last 2,000 years. What's really hidden behind the Vatican's heavily guarded doors? No bodies were found, not even the remains of those who were supposed to be buried in a tomb. For centuries, rumors have swirled about the secret vaults locked away from public view and shrouded in mystery. The Vatican archives, whenever they're going to be opened, are going to reveal extraordinary levels of detail. It was something actual, something tangible, something energetic. But now, the vaults have finally been opened, and what was uncovered will leave you stunned. It's a famous Bible codex, the entire Bible in Greek. The story of the Vatican and its supposed angel in captivity is a tale lost in time. Yes, an actual angel. There are rumors of a winged being kept somewhere in the bowels of the Vatican secret archives. You have to wonder if the secret library at the Vatican, which they acknowledge exists. Conspiracy theorists imagine a dimly lit chamber where a bound, captured angel sits, guarded by shadowy priests. No one has seen this angel firsthand, but there are whispers of a strange creature that was caught. Not all angels in the Vatican are flesh and blood, or whatever angels are made of, so none of them are human. Well, answer. Well, but I have yet to judge against your wisdom. One is very real and stony. This one is linked to a scandal that still haunts the Vatican. Emanuela Orlandi, a 15-year-old, went missing on June 22, 1983. Readily recruited young girls for secret and sinister parties. Some compare these theories to the darkest whispers about Epstein's Island, but within the sacred walls of Vatican City. Others suspect organized crime, a Cold War-era plot involving the KGB, or even a serial killer. In 2018, the Orlandi family's lawyer received an anonymous letter pointing to a new lead, a grave in the Vatican's Teutonic Cemetery. The letter included a photograph of an angel's statue with the cryptic message, "Search where the angel looks." The angel statue marked the tombs of two noblewomen, Princess Sophie and Duchess Charlotte Frederica. On July 11, 2019, the graves were exhumed, but what was found shocked everyone. They were completely empty. Not only was there no sign of Emanuela, but the bones of the two women supposedly buried there were gone too. No bodies were found, not even the remains. Then messages surfaced, allegedly between two cardinals close to Pope Francis. The messages hinted at an object that had been moved before the tombs were opened, a deliberate effort to hide whatever secrets the chamber once held. The Orlandi family refused to name these cardinals, likely because their identities were too sensitive or too dangerous to reveal. Was this object linked to Emanuela's disappearance? Why was such an effort made to hide it? And what does the Vatican really know about what happened to her that fateful evening in 1983? One thing is certain. The truth, whatever it may be, remains buried in secrecy. Number 10. Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible. The Codex Gigas isn't just any medieval manuscript. The image of the devil comes at a really important point in the manuscript. Everything up until that point is biblical. It all begins with a Benedictine monk who found himself in dire straits after breaking his sacred vows. He faced the monastery's ultimate punishment, being walled up alive. Yes, you read that right. He was set to be sealed into a room with no windows, no doors, no escape, and left to die of starvation and thirst. A grim fate reserved for the most unforgivable sins. No crumbs, no water, not even a crumb of stale bread. But this monk wasn't ready to accept such a miserable end. Desperate to save himself, he made an outrageous promise. He would create the most stunning Bible ever conceived, a tome so incredible it would contain all the wisdom of the universe. And he'd do it in a single night. Naturally, the abbot was intrigued. Who wouldn't want a book with all human knowledge wrapped in one neat package? The deal was struck and the monk got to work. But as the hours ticked by, the realization hit. Writing such a book in one night was given of its mysteries. Its name, Latin for giant book, is fitting since the manuscript is enormous. Scientific analysis dates it back to the 13th century. But the real marvel lies in its creation. This isn't your typical handwritten text. It's a colossal piece of work that would have required an unimaginable amount of dedication. Experts estimate it would take about 5 years of non-stop writing, yes, as in 43,800 hours, to create something this immaculate. More realistically, it probably took someone their entire lifetime. The Codex Gigas is more than just a Bible, though. It includes a mix of fascinating content, excerpts from the Vulgate, writings from a Jewish historian, instructions on exorcisms, medical knowledge by Constantine the African, a calendar, and even strange alchemical sketches. But the most puzzling part? 10 pages are missing. Legend has it these pages were lost in a fire, or hidden deliberately. A secret so terrifying that it had to be concealed, maybe even by the Vatican itself. The devil comes at a really important point in the manuscript. Number 9. The doctrine of the serpent seed. Now let's dive into one of the most bizarre and controversial ideas tied to Christianity, the doctrine of the serpent seed. It's a belief system so out there that even the most fringe groups find it hard to swallow. Yet there's a community that holds this theory close to their heart, insisting it explains the origin of human sin. And out of dust, God creates the first man, Adam, and breathed into him the breath of life. So we read in a creation story that God created humankind, Adam and Eve, and then placed them in the Garden of Eden. According to this doctrine, the fall of humanity in the Garden of Eden didn't stem from Eve munching on the forbidden fruit. Instead, it claims Eve engaged in a far more scandalous act, bearing a child with the serpent itself. Over time, these lineages mixed, and today, proponents of the serpent seed doctrine believe half of humanity is walking around as descendants of the devil. What started as a fringe belief in early Christianity faded for centuries, only to resurface in the 19th century during a wave of religious experimentation in America. Sadly, it didn't take long for the serpent seed idea to become a tool for promoting white supremacy, with groups like the Ku Klux Klan and American Nazi Party co-opting it for their own twisted agendas. Number 8. Secrets of Mary Magdalene. Then there's the enigma of Mary Magdalene, a figure who continues to stir controversy nearly 2,000 years after her time. In 2003, Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code revived an age-old theory that Mary and Jesus were more than just spiritual companions. All those tantalizing theories about Jesus and Mary Magdalene being lovers really jump from this one passage. But look closer, really look. Everyone else in the painting is unmistakably masculine, bearded, rugged, and a little grimy. But the person to Jesus is right? They're delicate, clean-shaven, and strikingly feminine. Could it be Mary Magdalene, quietly sitting beside Jesus as his equal or even his partner? Renaissance art scholars often brush off the idea, saying John was just traditionally depicted with softer features. But then there's the Gospel of Mary, one of several early Christian texts that didn't make the final cut when the Bible was compiled. Texts like this suggest a deeper, more complex relationship between Mary Magdalene and Jesus, one the early church might have erased intentionally. The Bible we know today is essentially a curated collection of stories, chosen from countless Gospels written in Christianity's early days. While Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John made the cut, others like the Gospel of Mary were left out. What? Maybe rarity. But for what it suggests, it casts Mary Magdalene not as a follower, but as one of Jesus's disciples, and possibly even his partner. It challenges centuries of tradition, hinting that women may have played a much bigger role in early Christianity than the Church has ever admitted. It sounds like something out of the Da Vinci Code, but this time, it might not be fiction. Number 7. The Forgotten Gospel of Basilides. Now let's talk about one of the early competitors to mainstream Christianity, Basilides. Living in Alexandria during the 2nd century, Basilides was a Gnostic teacher whose ideas could have reshaped Christianity entirely if they had gained more traction. Basilides and his followers, the Basilidians, were less concerned with rigid religious rules and more focused on the mysteries of existence. Their teachings delved into the origins of the universe and the spiritual forces shaping human life. While his movement didn't survive in the long run, that's a lot.